We are indeed privileged to next hear from Mr. Chris Kanakaratne, Chairman and CEO of Virtusa. He will speak on the Virtusa story. Please welcome Chris Kanakaratne.
Thank you. I appreciate the invitation, and I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts about the Sri Lankan advantage. By way of introduction, I'm Chris Kanakaratne, Chairman and CEO of Virtusa. I want to start with a story, the story of Virtusa, the company I co-founded, and the story of Sri Lanka, and how Sri Lanka was pivotal in helping Virtusa achieve the phenomenal success it has. It's also a story about the future opportunity for Sri Lanka and why I believe it's an excellent place to invest and do business. Let me jump right in and start with the most recent chapter of the Virtusa story. On September 10th, 2020, we announced that Virtusa has been acquired for a little over $2.3 billion, received shareholder and antitrust approvals, and closed the transaction on February 10th, 2021. Wow! It has been an incredible journey, starting with our humble beginnings to becoming a world leader in digital engineering services, a venerable list of blue chip clients, and over 25,000 world-class engineers who work on cutting-edge technologies. And very importantly, about 4,000 of our 25,000 engineers are right here in Colombo, Sri Lanka. The story actually began about 25 years ago. Back in 1996, we started Virtusa in our basement just outside Boston and my parents' home in Colombo, Sri Lanka. It started out as an experiment to see if we could innovate and develop software products and software platforms through globally distributed teams located in North America and in Southeast Asia. Distinct and different from doing Y2K remediation and mundane maintenance work from South Asia, as many others had already done. One could say that the experiment was very successful. While the industry focused on cost arbitrage, Virtusa focused on engineering arbitrage. We grew the business very rapidly during the early years, took the company public in 2007 in the US, weathered the great financial crisis of 08 and 09, and then went on to growing the business with a compounded annual growth rate of approximately 20% over the past 12 years. Here's a quick snapshot of Virtusa's growth and growth trajectory. Solid 20% plus compounded annual growth rate since 2010, crossing $1 billion in revenue in fiscal year 18, and on to $1.3 billion and $169 million of EBITDA in the most recently concluded 2021 fiscal year. And by the way, Virtusa is well positioned to continue its growth trajectory by capturing increasing share of the rapidly expanding digital market. So what exactly do we do? What exactly is driving that growth? Virtusa delivers end-to-end digital transformation solutions. Digital transformation is taking every industry by storm. Virtually every company in the world understands that becoming digital first is key, not just to thriving, but simply for surviving. And you have to transform every part of how you do business, from the back-end infrastructure to the front-end interfaces with clients and to all of the journeys that consumers are using to do their basic and fundamental work on a day in, day out basis. Virtusa has a leadership position in digital transformation, which includes transforming legacy backend infrastructure, building intelligent middleware, and immersive digital front ends. And we do this for many of the most venerable global brands with whom we have built significant and consequential relationships. For a firm of Virtusa's size and scale, our client base is simply peerless. Across all 5 industries we serve, we work with some of the most blue chip enterprises in the world. Just to put this into perspective, our largest client spent over $250 million. 2 of our clients spend about $100 million. 10 that spent over $10 million, and we have over 108 clients that spent over $1 million during our most recently concluded fiscal year. We are a formidable force in the industries we operate in, and the majority of our work is in cutting-edge digital transformation, an area that is growing very rapidly. In addition to our blue chip client base, we have a roster of deep partnerships with the leading providers of digital platforms and companies that focus on helping bring in the tremendous capabilities and power of the digital world. These partnerships range from Salesforce to Adobe, from Google to Amazon, and a list of some of the most established digital platform companies. So to summarize, Virtusa services the most attractive industries and works with a roster of blue chip clients. We currently have approximately 250 clients, over 25,000 global team members, and we will deliver approximately $1.5 billion in revenue across 19 countries and over 50 cities. The Virtusa story would not have been such a success without the Sri Lanka chapter. Before I jump in, let me provide some context. I moved to the US to attend university in 1984 and graduated with a degree in computer science from Syracuse University, New York. I have lived and worked in the northeast of the United States since graduating. When we started Virtusa, I thought that Sri Lanka would be able to provide a supportive environment with respect to my vision of building a global business. With this in mind, we made substantial investments in Sri Lanka and helped establish and grow an IT services industry. Sri Lanka has been a quintessential part of the Virtusa story, with very friendly policies, attractive tax benefits, and an extraordinarily strong talent pool that was enthusiastic and very allegiant. When I co-founded the company 25 years ago, I realized that the technological advances were effectively creating a new measure of value, and that was speed, and that friction was going to become the enemy of every major corporation. 25 years later, the rush to digital transformation is really a rush to speed, with companies around the globe looking for ways to make time to customer, time to new product, and time to delivery faster and faster. Back then, our ability to deliver on the emerging speed paradigm was dependent on creating a sanctuary for top engineering talent to innovate and accelerate innovation on a global scale. I felt that if we can prove this thesis between our operation in North America and in Colombo, Sri Lanka, that we could then scale in India and to other parts of the world. This is exactly what we did. For the first 4 years, our operations were between the US and Colombo, and then we expanded into Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune, and Delhi. Speed at scale was a critical success factor for us, and the only way for us to solve this equation was to have as many high quality talent hubs in South Asia and now globally in the US, UK, EU, and Australia. So I had an intuition that Sri Lanka had many of the attributes that we were looking for, and that if we could prove that we could accelerate innovation by leveraging global teams located on the east coast of the United States and in Colombo, that we could then quickly expand and scale the model. This is essentially exactly what we did. For the first 4 years, we operated between the east coast of the US and Colombo to prove the model and then expanded into India, specifically the key technology cities in India. Our objective was to provide speed at scale by building a sanctuary that was very attractive for the best and the brightest engineers who all aspired to set and reset a global bar of engineering excellence. Today, we have advanced technology centers in Colombo, in multiple centers across India, in the United States, in the UK, in EU and Australia, and through this experience we have a very good sense of what Sri Lanka offers. So really honing in and focusing on what Sri Lanka offers, the attributes are actually quite substantial. One, a very strong pipeline of K-16 tech-educated, aspiring and budding engineers. A highly literate, gig-amenable workforce, approximately of 8.5 million people. Top-tier infrastructure. IT sector tax exemptions, very friendly policies for foreign investment. Significant square feet in terms of technology parks. Easy incorporation where you can actually incorporate and start up within 3 to 6 weeks. And a very bold IT services vision that I personally believe will only get stronger with the new government and the administration. That advantage has resulted in the country having its own blue chip client list. Some of the biggest brands in the world are doing business with and in Sri Lanka. Many of them, I'm sure you're very familiar with, great brands in Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka's investments in innovation and taking friction out of the system have garnered global recognition. Recognition from A.T. Kearney, ranking Sri Lanka #1 in financial attractiveness to being recognized by the World Economic Forum as second in South Asia for competitiveness. And as you can see, there are many accolades that Sri Lanka has received, further validating and endorsing the potential that Sri Lanka offers. For corporations looking for top-tier engineers, Sri Lanka delivers. K-16 technology education pipeline producing skilled developers equipped to handle not just today's requirements but tomorrow's technologies. University computer science graduates ready and open to adapting to specific corporate expectations, and a very strong employer allegiance and an attractive country to live and work in. In a rapidly changing, frictionless world, and as we look to the future, there are a variety of secular trends that play to Sri Lanka's advantage. Digital transformation services as an industry and as a market is projected to grow to over $1 trillion by 2024. Very significant advancements have been made in artificial intelligence, machine learning, low-code, no-code platforms, and generally in digital transformation and creating an immersive digital experience for consumers and for customers. We are starting to see the expansion of the gig economy for engineering services. We are starting to see decentralized finance as a legitimate business model. We are starting to see non-fungible tokens or NFTs and the rapid adoption of cryptocurrencies. Together, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and decentralized finance is going to play a very significant and inextricable role in the world of finance and digital over the coming years and decades. We clearly see that there is a need for more public and private sector alignment vis-a-vis things like climate change and economic opportunity. And lastly, there is a rebalancing of global power and the rise of the developing world as essential players. So in this context, the Sri Lankan opportunity is actually very significant. Simply, there is a significant opportunity for Sri Lanka to step forward even more than it has, based on its capacity to create and provide stable infrastructure and favorable government policies, very powerful cost-value proposition, and excellent capabilities of product development and engineering, platform engineering, and higher value engineering services. Further, there is an opportunity to quickly stand up policies, practices, and capacities to intersect the rapidly emerging decentralized finance, NFT, and crypto world. Sri Lanka is additive or complementary to other IT resourcing locations, and Virtusa has proven unequivocally that having executed very successful early stage experiments in Sri Lanka with respect to engineering arbitrage, with respect to building software products and platforms, that we were able to take our thesis of globally distributed high-end engineering teams, demonstrate the ability to execute in Sri Lanka, and then move to other locations where Sri Lanka was still a very significant part of our service and delivery capacity and capability, but it was very complementary to some of our infrastructures in India and in other parts of the world. So in closing, the advantages here. I want to reiterate a couple of points that I've tried to bring out during the course of the presentation. I'm very, very pleased that we actually started that experiment to test the thesis that we had about accelerating innovation through globally distributed engineering teams. This then became the template to build a $1.3 billion powerhouse in digital engineering services, the most coveted blue chip clients, and attracting some of the best and brightest engineers in Sri Lanka, in India, and across all 19 countries of operation. We are very proud of the company we have built, and Sri Lanka played an inextricable role in Virtusa's success, for which I am deeply grateful and appreciative of. Our experience as an investor in Sri Lanka has been simply extraordinary. It is clear to me that the advantage for businesses and investors alike is here, and the potential that Sri Lanka offers foreign investors is second to none. This is further evidenced by a very progressive government led by President Rajapaksa, and his intrinsic knowledge and his personal interest in technology is quite candidly remarkable. And clearly, Sri Lanka's friendly policies towards foreign investment, an excellent talent pool, bode incredibly well for anyone that is considering Sri Lanka as a destination. I personally believed in Sri Lanka 25 years ago, and am resolute in my belief that Virtusa's success is inextricably linked to the decision that we made to start that bold experiment in Colombo, Sri Lanka, and our basement just outside Boston here in the US. And finally, to all of you technologists, be bold, be bold. You have a terrific opportunity to play a significant role in shaping the future of a highly technology-centric world. Thank you.